This video, I'm going to show you how pressure on grades is actually impacting your child. Most parents believe they have to put pressure on the grades of their children for several reasons. I'm going to show you what pressure on grades actually does to your children. And in the second part of this video, I'm going to show you what you can do instead. Hi, my name is Manuela. I'm a professional counselor since 28 years. Wow, that's a long time. And I've worked with over 1,000 students in the last 15 years. And my goal is to empower you as a parent so that you can help your child truly to go through the school system and to be a healthy, self-confident, happy child. The great thing is when you are understanding the impacts of pressure on grades, then you can change it immediately and easily. I'm going to show you how that works. Okay, part 1. Pressure causes fear. When I was working in a classroom last week, I was really shocked because I saw 80% of the class crying heavily, and I was like, oh my God, what happened? And I asked them, what happened, guys? They told me, we just got back our last test and we have lower grades than we have expected. This intense reaction, they were crying and they couldn't stop actually telling me how it impacted them immediately. Looking at their bad grades showed me that causing fear is actually really harmful. And maybe you might ask why. It creates a lot of fears. For example, the kids were telling me they're afraid to fail in that year. Some of them were afraid to fail and not able to go to another school. Some of them were afraid to go home and to show their grades, being afraid what the parents might tell them or if they might get punishment of the parents. They were afraid because other classmates could put them down after hearing their grades. Children are in competition to each other in our regular school system. Fear actually puts the body and nervous system in a state of anxiety, in a state of survival. And you might know the consequences of being in a state of survival are fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. That means children tend to go into fight, having conflicts with each other or with you. Flight, like they want to leave, they want to just run into their rooms and into their own worlds. For example, just gaming the whole night and day. Or freeze, they completely shut down and cut off their emotions as a form of self-protection in that moment. And fawn, they might be so afraid of your reaction that they shut down their personal identity, their personal needs, and play actually the role they think they have to in order to feel safe at home. This is a very unhealthy strategy. So that's the first point. The second impact of pressure on grades is it produces a lot of stress. Last week when I was talking with a boy, 11 years old, he was in such a tension. Stress creates tension in the body and in the nervous system, and it also creates the emotion according to it. It creates tension, especially in the shoulders, in the neck area, in the upper body. It contracts the body like fear. And you can imagine that it also damages the brain function. So the children, they're not able, or actually also we are all not able to learn as much as possible or as good as possible, having this fear or having this stress and tension in our bodies. We know from scientists that stress is actually weakening the body and the immune system and also producing more harm. Stress weakens the brain functions, meaning that the children are not able to learn and to memorize knowledge as they could. In our society, we didn't learn how to regulate stress and emotions, and that means If your son or your daughter is getting pressure on their grades regularly, they feel stressed all the time. And this is causing more stress in their body, in their emotions, in their whole energy field, in their whole life. So it's not helpful at all. But let's uncover the third impact of pressure. The third impact of pressure is disharmony. Pressure creates disharmony. You can see that children are feeling more low. They are getting demotivated about school, about learning, about everything according to school. They are experiencing emotional instability and insecurity. This has an effect socially. So what I saw again and again is children experiencing a lot of pressure and disharmony, therefore. They have more conflicts with the classmates, with teachers, at home with their parents. They feel bad about themselves. They create beliefs about themselves who are causing a lot of stress further on in their lives. For example, if your son or your daughter is believing I'm stupid or I'm too stupid for mathematics, for example, then this goes against your child. This is actually preventing your child from having a sense of achievement and success further on. Summarizing what pressure on grades does is following. It lowers brain functions. It destabilizes your children. It can damage the self-concept and the self-image of your child and the self-worth, which is the base for everything in life. It can produce chronic stress and other symptoms in the body of your child and also in their minds. It results often in less achievement at all. And what I saw too, it often causes children to give up early or to not start something new or difficult at all. So now we understand pressure on grades causes more harm than good. Now you might ask, Manuela, how can I encourage my child when putting pressure on my daughter or son is actually harmful? Well, I have you covered. I'm gonna give you the 3 best tips from my family mentoring program that are so helpful. Tip number 1, focus on the good. Maybe you know the saying, when you focus on the good gets better. And actually it's true. When you realize that in your own childhood, when you were criticized, did that help you to get better? When I look back, no, it just damaged me. It was putting a lot of stress on me. I got so anxious and fearful, and I had a very low self-worth too. And it was not helpful at all. So try to find things where your daughter or your son is already good at, and it doesn't matter where. When you're alone, think about where is my child good at? And also tell them about it. Oh my God, you're so good at that. Wow. Show them that you are seeing this, that you are a fan, that they are so good at jumping, at laughing, at playing theater, at singing, at telling jokes, at writing, or having a great fantasy. Look at your child more. Where is your child good at? And you are going to find a lot more things that you might know. This is encouraging and helping your child truly to get better, even at topics where they are not good yet. Okay, tip number 2, regular acknowledgement. This is a tip from my program that was always underestimated from the parents. And when they did that every day, sitting at the dinner table, acknowledging their daughter or their son for their laughter, their breathing, their achievements, their help, how they made them feel. For example, that they opened their hearts, that there is like a sunshine coming in when they enter the room, etc. You know, the parents were so surprised what that created in their lives and also in the lives of their children. So please try it out. Do it every night. When you sit together, hopefully, as a family, acknowledge your child. Look into their eyes and tell them, hey, I acknowledge you. It can be something from that day, something you acknowledge in their being, something they did or helped at that day. Do that every day and see how the self-worth and actually the self-identity is skyrocketing and helping them in school too. It's really, really a wonder tool. Just try it out. And tip number 3, detach and trust. And that's actually maybe the most difficult one for you as a mother or as a father, because most parents tend to believe that they have to worry about the grades of their children, about the future of the children, about the children itself. And you know what? Worry doesn't help either. Worry is the same like pressure. Worry creates stress in yourself. What we know from scientists, children can feel our stressful thoughts, our worries, our fears. So my tip is detach from the outcome in the school, from the grades, relax and trust that you have a daughter, that you have a son that is capable of going through life no matter what. And it's true, what I saw in the most difficult situations, helping families to go through, that children are enormous, intelligent, whole, complete, wise beings. And if you are allowing yourself to feel that, because you can sense it when you open your heart to that, you are helping them really and truly in that second, because children are sensing what we are believing. So start to believe that your child is capable to deal with everything, no matter what, even when it's difficult in the moment. It creates a change. We know that scientifically nowadays, that changing a belief, changing how we see somebody is helping them to change too. Okay, so do something to relax, to detach. What I saw with families who did that, who were putting my tips into practice regularly, that the children were getting much better grades afterwards, because the parents were detaching from the numbers, from the grades, because the children developed an intrinsic, an inner motivation to learn more, to know more, to be more. And this is actually what we want to achieve, right? So those 3 tips are really, really helpful. Focus on the good, acknowledge your daughter or your son daily, detach and trust. Please let me know in the comments if this video was helpful, and I'm looking forward to see you soon again.